Before you pack up your bags and move to Knoxville, let's talk. Knoxville's getting a lot of attention right now. According to MoveBuddha's 2026 forecast, Knoxville is projected to have the highest in-migration of any city in the whole United States, with 1.61 people moving in for every one person that's moving out. That is a massive inflow of people. And if you're watching this video, there is a pretty good chance that Knoxville is on your radar. Maybe you're comparing the neighborhoods on Zillow, or maybe you saw a TikTok about Market Square, or maybe you just heard the Smoky Mountains calling your name. But before you follow everyone else's path on I-75, I want to show you something that people may be overlooking. There's a really strong case for Chattanooga or Cleveland instead. And by the end of this video, you might actually be thanking the people that are rushing to Knoxville, because they're creating an opportunity for you just a couple of hours south. I'm Chris Roberts, your Southeast relocation realtor, and before you do anything, before you look at one more listing in Knoxville, grab my free relocation guide. It's right down below in the description. It's going to show you places where your dollar can stretch a little further, and trust me, that number changes a lot depending on which part of Tennessee you choose. It's got insights you're probably not going to find in one of those brochures at the airport. All right, let's talk about what's going on here. Knoxville is having a moment. People love the Smokies. The University of Tennessee gives that city a huge energy. Downtown has grown, and statistically, that in-migration projection is kind of crazy. That 1.61 ratio means significantly more people are going to be moving in than moving out, the kind of imbalance that can tighten up inventory, bringing up the cost of houses. But here's the hidden side of being number one in the nation for people moving in. You're going to be competing with everybody. More competition for houses, more pressure on prices, more buyers that might be waiving inspections because they're afraid that someone else will get the house. And more people that are going to be moving in that have no idea how many others are doing exactly the same thing. Which brings us to Chattanooga. So here's my headline. Chattanooga misses list on most popular cities to move to in 2026. At first glance, kind of sounds like that might be a bad thing. But for you, if you're relocating, that might actually be the best news in the entire report. Because while Knoxville is gearing up to absorb thousands of newcomers all at once, Chattanooga is quietly doing what it always does. Growing consistently, building smartly, and constantly improving its infrastructure, and maintaining that big enough city kind of feel. People who move here get the Tennessee lifestyle without all that frenzy. And here's what makes Chattanooga special. It's been pretty intentional about its growth. They invested in EPB, bringing in that gigabit internet as part of a public utility package. And if you're a remote worker, that is a huge thing. They built out the Tennessee Riverwalk, which is 13 miles of paved trails connecting neighborhoods and downtown. You've got Coolidge Park, the Walnut Street Bridge, and a food scene that punches way above its weight class. Places like Calliope, Aaliyah, Easy Bistro. These aren't just good for a small city kind of restaurants. These are legitimately excellent places to dine. And the Tivoli Theater is set to reopen this summer of 2026 after doing more than $70 million in renovations. That is the kind of investment that tells you a city is thinking long term. And if you want the lowest competition in this whole conversation, let me introduce you to Cleveland, Tennessee. It's just 35 minutes up the road from Chattanooga. Yes, Cleveland residents hate it when I talk about it because it's still kind of a little hidden gem, but listen, people are already moving from Chattanooga to Cleveland for more space, that small town vibe, and slightly lower price points. Plus, Cleveland has a manufacturing economy that is massive for this size of a town. We've got the Mars factory that makes more M&Ms than any other factory in the world. We've got Duracell batteries, Fokker polysilicon, stable, well-paying jobs. So let's talk about what daily life actually feels like, because that's what really matters when you're relocating. In Knoxville, you're gonna be in a city that is buzzing right now. Game days, they're electric if you love that energy, but they also mean traffic, crowds, and planning your weekend around 100,000 people that are gonna be flooding towards that stadium. It's a bigger city vibe with everything that comes with it. More options, but also more of that hustle and bustle. In Chattanooga, you get that sweet spot of being city enough without feeling overwhelmed. You can grab world-class dinner on a Friday night, hit the Riverwalk on Saturday morning, and never feel like you're fighting for space. The kind of place where you can still find parking downtown, the traffic, it doesn't make you want to scream, and where outdoor access isn't something that you have to drive an hour to get to. It's just part of your daily routine here. Cleveland gives you room to breathe. You know your neighbors, your commute is predictable, but you're not sacrificing access. Chattanooga, it's only 35 minutes away when you want that city experience, and then you get to come home to some quiet. So the question isn't which city is better, it's what does your daily life look like and which of these is going to fit you best. Now let's get into some numbers, and I'm using real data here pulled directly from the East Tennessee Realtors MLS and the Greater Chattanooga MLS for May of 2025 through November of 2025. Chattanooga's median sold price is $362,000, and Knoxville, that median sold price there is $400,000. Yes, you may have some more nightlife options in Knoxville, and if you're going out a few nights a week and that's important to you, then that just may be your jam. You're just going to pay for it in the price of your home and your mortgage. But if you want your dollar to go a little further and still have access to some extraordinary restaurants and performance venues, then Chattanooga could be your place. Let's do some quick math. That $400,000 home in Knoxville versus the $362,000 home in Chattanooga, that's a $38,000 difference. At current rates, that's going to be $220 to $250 more per month in your mortgage payment. Over a year, that's about $3,000, and over 30 years, you're looking at $90,000. That's retirement contributions. That's your emergency fund getting built a little bit faster. And in Cleveland, you might get that same house for $320,000. Now we're talking about even more breathing room in your budget. And how about jobs? Both cities have solid job markets, just different flavors. Knoxville is going to be university heavy with healthcare, hospitality, tourism, and some manufacturing. And in Chattanooga, we've got tech companies, logistics, manufacturing giants like Volkswagen North America and McKee Foods that makes our favorite Little Debbie snacks. And then we have Amazon, Blue Cross, TVA, and more remote workers than ever thanks to that gigabit internet. Now, Knoxville is building out their fiber internet as a public utility as well, but it hasn't yet finished that kind of digital infrastructure for the city. So, the big question, why pick Chattanooga or Cleveland instead of Knoxville? To me, it's because Chattanooga and Cleveland offer the same Tennessee benefits like the mountains, outdoor access, and no income tax without the competition, the bidding wars, or rapid cost increases that tend to follow cities with headlines of being #1 with people moving in. Knoxville is gonna get louder in 2026. Chattanooga and Cleveland, they're just gonna keep chugging right along. And for families, remote workers, and anyone else that's wanting a smoother landing, that kind of stuff matters. So before you follow the crowd into Knoxville, take a serious look at Chattanooga and also at Cleveland too. Check out Coolidge Park, walk the riverfront, have dinner in Ottawa's Cambridge Square while you're on your way up to Cleveland to see how much house you can get for the same budget that you'd be looking at in Knoxville. You don't have to compete with thousands of other newcomers to get that Tennessee lifestyle that you want. And if you're trying to figure out which city really does fit your life, download my free relocation guide in the description. It's going to make the whole process way easier. And be sure to check out the playlist. It's going to be right here on your screen to learn more about how you can live your best life in Chattanooga, Tennessee.